Yo, what's good everybody? It's the Real King Kai back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan. And I'm sure everyone has heard by now, but Attack on Titan has officially come to an end. So today we're going to be talking about the series as a whole and decide whether or not the ending was actually fitting. If you have not read the ending yet, or you're an anime only, don't worry because I won't say what the actual ending is. I'll just leave it up to you guys to figure that out yourself. So without further ado, let's get into it. The truth about Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan was a series that was able to grasp its audience in the very first 5 minutes of its first episode, showing off these giant humanoid monsters that they call Titans, showing off a little bit of its action and what we were in for, and then following up with probably one of the most iconic anime openings ever. And it wouldn't take long for the anime to actually show the reality of the world that they lived in. Soon after the Colossal Titan broke down the very first wall, a lot of people started dying, man. Like at this point in time, the first time I saw the first episode of Attack on Titan, I was kind of used to like the feel good shonen anime stuff, you know, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, you know, the main character is super happy and things, whatever. But then Maz just started dying in this, and it wasn't even like they tried to cover it up or whatever. Like you were seeing when Eren was running through the town, you were seeing, you know, people being crushed by rocks, you know, blood splattering and stuff. Like it was wild, man. And then having Eren actually see his mom be eaten by the Smiling Titan, that was crazy. I think honestly, out of all the animes I've seen, Attack on Titan probably has one of the best introductions. You see the conflict super early, you know who the main character is, you know what his backstory is, and you know where it's gonna go. In fact, even when it comes to introducing characters, you know who they are. It's really fast, it's straight to the point, and I really appreciate that. I don't think there's really any characters in Attack on Titan that are lacking or boring to watch or not interesting at all. Attack on Titan is a series that doesn't really prioritize the value of a character based on their strength. Of course, all of us love badass characters like Mikasa or Levi, but other characters who don't really see fight very often either do shine as well, such as Armin. In episode 10 of season 1 of Attack on Titan, Armin actually comes out with a super clutch speech that he made up right on the spot in order to save Eren and Mikasa, and he actually bought them a lot of time. Armin is also the one that brought forward the evidence of Annie being the female Titan and convinced her to go along with their plan of quote-unquote Eren escaping. I know Armin is part of the main trio, but there is no character that gets screen time for no reason. After the events of season 1 took place and many people fell in love with the series, they had to transition to the manga. And the reason being is after season 1 concluded, we would go 4 years without getting a season 2. The reason it took us so long to get a season 2 of Attack on Titan was because the studio that was handling the anime was actually extremely small. At the 2020 Crunchyroll Anime Awards, the Industry Icon Award was given to George Wada, who was actually the co-founder of WIT Studio. And in his speech, he actually says that WIT Studio, when it was founded, was no bigger than a storage room with no windows. Attack on Titan was their very first big name series that they actually took care of, and they did extremely well with it. Over the years, WIT Studio would also produce a couple other animes. One that instantly comes to mind is Vinland Saga, which in 2020 also won the Best Drama Award, and a couple of original works such as Great Pretender, which is on Netflix, and Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. But anyway, on April 1st, 2017, the very first episode of Attack on Titan Season 2 would release. And again, it came with a banger opening, which in my opinion, this is probably the best opening they came out with. And of course, as you would expect, we would learn more and more and more about the Titans, and we would learn more about the world surrounding them. And this season also really focused on other characters' relationships that didn't really get a lot of screen time in season 1. For example, Historia and Ymir. But what honestly had to be the high point of this season was Bertholdt and Reiner turning into the Colossal and Armored Titans. Everything about this moment was perfect. The soundtrack, the anticipation, the build-up, how they were already suspecting Reiner and Bertholdt, it was really good. And of course, this led us straight into the season finale. And in this arc, we got to see what Reiner and Bertholdt were thinking, their conversation when Eren was kidnapped. Like, we got to see so much from their end. Of course, there were still questions at this time, but hearing what they were saying is just like, they didn't know what else to do. And this was honestly really cool to see, just because this was the first time we were able to get a proper conversation between the people who broke down the walls and the people who were in the walls at the time. Reiner and Bertholdt were honestly like older brothers to everybody in the Scouts, and the fact that they ended up being the people who really ruined a lot of people's lives is kind of crazy. But honestly, after learning this secret, if you go back to season 1 and you just watch it and you see like really small interactions, or when Eren is talking about the Armored Titan and the camera goes to Reiner and he has his back turned and he's just listening, it's just like, that's crazy. Or when Reiner was talking to Annie and she looked so annoyed and she got upset and she just folded Eren, like, yo, that stuff just made so much more sense after learning this. But honestly, season 2 being as short as it was, had a lot of epic moments, bro. And even in these moments, we got to see characters have their skills really shine. Erwin being a leader, Armin again with his talking coming in clutch, you know what I'm saying? Attack on Titan was a series that never really forgot about characters. By this point, honestly, if you're doing your research and you were looking into Attack on Titan and you were seeing the foreshadowing and everything that was happening, Attack on Titan was turning out to be one of the greatest stories of our generation. And one thing I really believe is true is that we're never ever gonna get another story like this. And then came season 3. Season 3 was done a bit differently than a lot of other traditional animes. They decided to split the third season into 2 parts. And while there was no formal announcement as to why Attack on Titan season 3 was split into 2 parts, a lot of people believe it has to do with Wit's small production staff. Earlier in the video, I said that Wit Studio was as big as a storage closet. And of course, after Attack on Titan season 1 and they blew up, they worked on a lot of other projects. To this day, Wit Studio actually only has 34 employees. So you guys might be able to imagine the stress that was put on to these 34 employees to animate this anime giant and then work on all their other projects as well. And at the time, they did have another very large project coming out, which was Vinland Saga, which released basically right after the end of season 3 part 2. But of course, with the release of Attack on Titan season 3, we would see much more of the story develop and a lot more world building. We saw our main cast go from fighting titans to fighting other humans. We got backstory on Levi, we got backstory on Historia. It was a really good season, full of action and full of a lot of information. We even got a rematch between Eren and Reiner, which was actually really good too. We got to see the Thunder Spears in use, we saw the Beast Titan, we saw Levi go off, Erwin died, and Armin got the Colossal Titan's powers. But to me, the most important part of the season, which is probably the most important part of the story up to this point, was at the end of season 3 part 2 when Eren kisses Historia's hand and he sees his father's memories. And this is also where the story gets a little more interesting. If you don't know what Eren's Titan's powers are by this point, it is the ability to see its future and past holders' memories. So I'm not gonna say any more on that. We're just gonna move on to season 4. Season 4 starts off a bit differently, introducing a whole set of new characters that nobody has ever seen yet. And it doesn't take long to figure out that this is actually the side that invaded Paradise Island. These guys are known as the Marleys. The reason we're introduced to the Marleys and we're being shown their side of the war is because we actually see how they view Eren and everybody on Paradise Island. But anyway, fast forwarding to episode 5, where the hobo guy that Falco's been talking to is actually revealed to be Eren, we get a really good conversation between Reiner and Eren. Eren basically questions Reiner and tells him that he understands why he did what he did, why he didn't know any better at the time. And he even goes as far to say that not all Marleyans are bad people. And what Eren does next is actually the reason why this stage in his development was my favorite. Eren tells Reiner that he's not going to stop moving forward and then transforms, almost killing Reiner and actually causing mayhem inside the city. Honestly, season 4 of Attack on Titan is special. And for those of you who are watching this video and may not have seen the final season of Attack on Titan, don't worry, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it, but if you haven't seen it yet, man, what are you doing? And I feel like after seeing this version of Eren and after seeing everything that he's done and how far he's come, the ending of Attack on Titan, no matter what it was, would not live up to the hype that is already built up. Honestly, in my opinion, there was no way to end Attack on Titan that would actually be happy. And maybe you guys have heard, but a lot of people are not happy with the ending, and it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't the greatest either. Attack on Titan is a type of story that we may never honestly get again. But like I said, I'm not gonna be spoiling the ending. I'm gonna let you guys figure that out. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail about season 4 either, because a lot of people that I personally talk to haven't seen it yet, and they are active anime watchers, so I don't know why they haven't seen it, but they haven't seen it. If you guys did like this video, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.